Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? My name is Rob Carmona, and welcome back to another episode of Rob the Mic. For this week's episode, I'm getting to do something that I haven't done in a while. And shouts to one of my homies for inspiring this. So, a friend of mine hit me up and was like, hey, dude, I have a question for you. You may or may not have talked about this in the past. He's like, I don't necessarily remember it, but he's like, I'm kind of going through some shit right now. And I want your input. I want your feedback. And he's like, we don't have to talk about it right now. He's like, but I would like if you would talk about it on the podcast. And I said, yeah, for sure. So what's up, dude? He's like, so how do you deal with being happy and sad at the same time? So I was trying to think about how I was going to wrap it into the episode, what I was going to talk about. And I said, you know what? What do you mean? How am I going to wrap it into the episode? Because I feel like that's just kind of where I've been at the last couple of weeks. Like I've been doing okay and I've been pushing through, but I think that's the key thing right there is that I've just been pushing through. And I'm trying my best to just stay afloat, to just make shit happen, to just do it. But I feel like I'm constantly riding a roller coaster. So as far as like dealing with being happy and sad at the same time, I feel like that's kind of my normal right now. Like I don't know what it feels like to just be constantly happy or constantly sad, thankfully. Because honestly, I had a really, and a lot of you would know, those of you guys who listen to this and or watch this, pretty often, I feel like the sad part is always pretty prominent. And I'm always just kind of like I'm not always fucking sad, but it kind of just seems to always like linger in some way. Like something will happen. And I get it. That's life, right? Like we all have to fucking deal with it at some point. Whether being literally sad about anything, it's just that's life. You gotta fucking deal with it. And it's not about just, turning around and being like man up and just fucking make shit happen. But at the same time, you kind of have to do that. You kind of have to pull yourself out of whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're doing. Because if not, no one's going to do it for you. And nothing is going to get you out of that situation but yourself. So I feel like the short answer is you kind of roll with it because you don't have another choice. And I feel like for the most part, a lot of us do have outlets, whether it's hobbies, whether we have people we talk to, whether it's we have a therapist, anything like that. So we all have things that we will kind of run to in those situations, but for the most part, I feel like you have to rely on yourself. And if you don't kind of create that relationship with yourself, if you don't develop that, if you don't strengthen that, which I think is the most important thing because I feel like you constantly have to reinforce that, and it's like you're always building a wall in a sense that you're climbing with it and you're building it at the same time. But if you don't reinforce that, eventually it's going to tip over. So if you're not constantly reinforcing yourself, you're not constantly building that relationship, that love, that strength, that trust in yourself, then there's not really much you have to go off of, and eventually you're going to topple over. So as of recent, I would definitely say I've been working a lot harder on strengthening that. Things that I need to do, things that make me happy, things that actually bring me joy, people, situations, anything like that. Like I'm trying to just kind of flood my vision, flood my life with that. Because I notice, regardless of how I'm feeling when I'm in those situations, it's fine. Like everything is fine. It feels okay. Even when I'm stressed, even when I'm fucked up or I'm sad or I'm thinking about shit, it doesn't matter. Because as much as we've talked about this before in the past too, is like being in the moment and setting yourself down wherever you are and just kind of realizing I'm never going to get this time back. Because I've been focusing on that so much as of recent, that's what's helped me kind of get through it. And my weekends have been really packed up. They have, whether I've been going to events, whether I've been doing stuff with friends or with family or something like that. Like there's been so much going on. And it's kind of good. Like I kind of need that right now. Like I need that distraction in a healthy way because it allows me to kind of process what's going on, but also live in the exact moment that I'm in, whether it's going to get pizza with friends or like a How with Sebastian, right? Like our Sunday fun day. Those are things that I need. Those are things I have to focus on. I can't really put my time elsewhere because if I start to go and do those types of things, but my mind is somewhere else, I'm not in it. I'm not there. And like this past weekend was fucking rad. I was able to kind of throw myself into my work and also we just really have fun with it and disconnect. And even though my mind was still kind of occupied by a few things, that wasn't in the forefront because it's exactly where I was. Like that's where I was at. You know what I mean? Like I was able to really live in those moments and really take it. Like being at Moon Eyes. Moon Eyes was awesome this past weekend. Granted, there was a little hiccup that happened after we left. some dude was like trying to do a burnout of some sort or like leave a driveway aggressively. Dude ended up losing control, hitting 2 cars like an absolute fucking idiot. So he fucked that up, and I'm sure that's going to fuck up Moon Eyes from here on out, at least when it comes to the open house, because just the way that the event is set up now is also a little bit different, because there used to be like a party supply that was across the street. That all got knocked down, and I think there's going to be apartments and possible like shopping situation that's going to get put up right there. So it's like next year all of that's going to be there, because of course, as most of us know who live here in LA, and I feel like a lot of places that are just kind of like coming up in certain areas, those sorts of development, when they're adding apartments or doing shopping or doing, anything like that, they come up really quick. So again, I know next year is going to be different, and this little mishap for sure is going to affect the event. So we'll see how all that stuff goes. But regardless, I had a great fucking time. Great fucking time. Was I thinking about certain things? Of course. I'm never not thinking about shit. I'm always thinking about everything that I don't need to be thinking about. You know what I mean? So getting to kind of fill my vision with that, even though I got up early, did my thing, it was fucking great. It's exactly what I needed. And I'm like, yeah, this is the shit that I'm here for. After that, I got to spend some time with some family afterwards. Still doing some car shit, which was really cool because I don't get to do that very often. That was fucking awesome. And again, things I just needed to fill my vision with. And I'm like, okay. And also realizing it too, that I was able to let myself do that. Because a lot of the times it kind of hits me that I'm not there. And I have to constantly remind myself, like, dude, snap out of it. Be here, be where you're at right now, be with the people that you're with. So when it kind of hit me at the end of the day, I was like, yo, this is it. This is it. This is why I need to keep doing what I'm doing, whether it's like this for work or anything like that. I have to keep myself occupied in a positive way. That way I can process what's going on, but not necessarily focus on it. So a lot of, for myself specifically, dealing with like being happy and sad at the same time is just where I'm putting my energy and how I'm using my time. Because it's not so much of like a wavy roller coaster. And now I just kind of like, it starts to even out a little bit. And it's still a little crazy. It's bumpy. It's rough, but it's not as like up and down. And I think that's what I'm trying to get rid of, is like the up and down, because I really don't think life has to be that like up and down all the fucking time. I really don't think so. I feel like it's meant to you're meant to experience things, but it's not meant to completely throw you off. And I feel like before, a lot of the times, like any sort of like slight inconvenience or something would go down or anything like that regarding certain people, places, whatever, it would just fuck everything up for me. And I realized how dangerous that is, because I end up it's like you put all your eggs in a basket, and it's like when that basket breaks, that's it. Like, what the fuck do you do? Everything's a mess. And I'm like, all right, I can't keep letting this type of shit happen. I can't keep letting certain things, certain entities have all of me or get the best of me in that sense. Because it's like, that doesn't deserve my energy, but this does. And a lot of the times when I'm dealing with this, I'm thinking about that. And it's like, this is wrong. This is wrong. I shouldn't be spreading myself this thin. I shouldn't be doing that. Like, I have to be exactly where I'm at. So being present, filling my vision with things that are positive for me, filling my life with things that are positive for me, with people, all of that. Like, that's a lot of how I deal with the ups and downs. Because, and I know it sounds pretty general, and it's like, well, wait, what the fuck? This is kind of obvious, but it's actually not for a lot of people. That's the thing, you guys. A lot of the shit that we talk about on here, some of it may seem like, well, that's kind of obvious. It's not. Because when you're in it, it's very fucking different. It's so much easier said than done for a lot of us. It's like, you would think, do shit that makes you happy. But when you're really depressed or you're really fucked up, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. The answer isn't just there, right? And it can get really fucking serious, and it can get like even down to the most basic of things, right? Like brushing your teeth, which we've talked about before, And I'll always reference this thing. Like, there's, for those of you who have seen Euphoria, one, it's a really gnarly show. If you haven't seen it, and maybe you're just not in the best place right now to deal with like really hectic shit, I wouldn't recommend watching it. If you can, I don't know. If you really don't have anything to watch right now, maybe check it out. But it is pretty fucking nuts. I feel like a lot of it's blown out of proportion. But I also don't know. I'm not a fucking teenager today, so I couldn't fucking tell you if that's anywhere near true. I just compare it to like my childhood, which, well, not even childhood, but like my teen years, which were really fucking hectic. So I guess it is kind of like that. I don't know. Anyways, if you go check it out, check it the fuck out. But there's a scene in Euphoria where one of the characters, she's just severely depressed and like addicted to drugs, and it's this whole fucking thing. And she falls into this really ugly spell of depression where she won't leave her room for anything, like to eat, to use the restroom. And she ends up like basically not using the restroom for a certain amount of time and ends up going to the hospital. And granted, she could have easily fixed that problem just going to the restroom, which was across the hall. But for some reason in her head, she just was like, I don't want to get up. I don't want to move. I don't want to do anything. So she fell into this spell. But again, for those of us watching it on the outside, it's like, get up and go to the restroom so you don't have to hurt anymore. You know what I mean? And again, so things that may seem really easy, depending on the person, place, whatever the fuck's going on, can be really fucking difficult. So it's not as black and white as it seems. But that's just for me personally, that's how I deal with like the being happy and being sad at the same time. And a lot of the times I feel you just got to muscle up and just make it happen and just slowly walk forward. And even if they're like the tiniest fucking steps and like the smallest of increments, you have to step forward. Because if you don't step forward, again, no one's going to step forward for you. And we have to learn how to deal with that to the best of our abilities. And I know as I've gotten older, I've had to teach myself and gain certain tooling to be able to do so. Because I haven't always had it. But I know, especially now, in the last year, maybe 2 years even, what I've had to give myself and what I've had to learn and take notes on and understand, a lot of it is just me. Like, what is it that I actually need? What is it that makes me smile, that makes me happy, that makes me feel complete? Whether it's people, places, things, any of that. And to know and have actual answers for myself. That way, when things do hit the fan, it's like, okay, this is what I got to do. This is what I need. This is what's good for me right now. And so on and so forth. But you have to be able to develop that for yourself. So give yourself the time, give yourself the space to get to know yourself, right? Things happen, life happens. You start to lose yourself once in a while. And you wonder, maybe you're putting everybody else before you. And it's like, well, I know what other people need, but I don't know what I need. Take the time to figure that out. What is it? What is it? Maybe you need to go to the beach for a little bit and do that. Grant yourself that. Okay, maybe you need to go get your favorite bag of chips. Go do that. But if you don't give yourself the time to get to know yourself, how else are you going to figure it out? Right? So me just pushing through is kind of figuring out what's going on and what it is that I need at that time. But at least for right now, I do feel a little bit more stable. I feel like things in a really weird, I guess like in a weird way, things are really starting to level out. Like I feel like they're starting to level out. There's a lot of things that still are very fucking unstable and really fucked up. But at the same time, it doesn't feel as bad. It doesn't feel as bad. I don't know why. Like I feel like, okay, like I don't feel like this state of like existential dread, like fucking nothing's going to get better. Shit isn't going to work out. Nothing's going to pan out. Like I don't feel that way. I do feel like I don't know a lot right now. And I've kind of surrendered to that. Where like, I don't know what's going to happen with my career. I don't know what's going to happen with just a lot of shit in my life, with my family, with this everything. And even though there's so many question marks around me, for some reason, I still don't feel like scared about shit. I don't feel like things aren't going to pan out. I don't feel like shit's going to stay fucked up forever. I just feel like, okay, well, this is kind of where I'm at right now. Let's keep it moving. Let's just take shit as it comes, a day at a time, and that's it. That's all I got. You know, I make the plans that I can. I see the people that I can. I know that bring me joy, bring me happiness, fill my life with love. And that's all I can focus on. I can't focus on shit else. But it does feel nice to not feel in a state of just fucking dread all the time. Because for a cool minute, I was like, fuck, man, like nothing's really going to get better. Nothing's going to get better. This is going to stay this way. And you can't, because I noticed as much as I stayed in that mindset, it's like, this is why nothing is changing. But now as I've started to shift and mold and move and switch things up, and the way I just kind of look at stuff, the way I process the information, it's like, oh, you know what? It's actually not that fucking bad. Even if it is really bad, honestly, which there are certain things that are really bad right now, it honestly will change everything, how I will sit there and just kind of process that information. And if I can just process it with a certain mindset to say, all right, well, here we go. And that's it. That's cool. I feel like I'm just kind of getting ready to box in a way. Like I'm strapping up my gloves, taping up my hands, getting things ready to go. And I just kind of push through and it feels okay. So a lot of the time I just have to do that for myself. I have to constantly remind myself, constantly reinforce what I'm doing and like why I'm doing it, you know? And like I talk about work a lot because it's such a heavy thing for me right now. Like I'm trying to stabilize my business. I'm trying to get things into a place where I have somewhat of a routine. And I'm starting to gain that. I'm really starting to gain that, which is good. And like I'm getting to a place now where I can also open up my books, which is really cool. I'm starting to finish out certain work. I'm starting to get people on certain schedules. And I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is actually the free time that I have. And I'm really starting to utilize my calendar, which is helping me a fucking ton. For those of you guys who don't utilize your calendars, use the fuck out of it. It is the best shit. Because now, the moment something pops up, throw it in the calendar. Because now I don't have it occupying like space in my mind. I can just look down at it and say, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. I wrote this down for this day, or I have this to do. I have this deadline, X, Y, Z. It's all there. And it's not something I've never done before, but I'm having to do it. And I realize that it's like, damn, I can't keep everything up here. This isn't going to work out for me. I'm not this kind of person. I can't just mentally keep everything up here. And I know so many people that are. And it's funny because I also have so many friends that think that they are that type of person, that they can keep everything in their fucking head, but they're a goddamn mess and they don't know what the fuck they're doing 99% of the time. And I'm like, dude, why don't you just write this shit down? Why don't you just write down what you have to do? That way you understand, and you have literally, it's written out and it's flat and you're like, oh, okay. You know, whether it's like your processes of shit you still have to do. And like, for example, friends who are building cars, I'm like, dude, rather than thinking about what you have to do, why don't you actually make a fucking list? Whether it's in your phone, whether it's on paper, something of what you have to do. It's like, oh, I don't want to get overwhelmed. And what the fuck do you think's going on in your head? You don't even know where to start, how to do it. And if you put it down, at least you can map it out, right? So it's like, in that sense, that's what I'm trying to do for myself, is give myself constant mapping. Because if I can plan things, if I can put stuff down, at least I know where to move it and where to put it. It kind of feels like a puzzle. And even if everything's a fucking mess, if I can put it down, at least I know where I have to move things. So that's been helping me be a lot more stable as of recent, whether it's plans with friends, family, life, anything. I'm just, as much as I write everything down, like I'm a fucking post-it hoarder, like I have post-its all over my fucking desk, just pads and pads and pads, and I'm constantly writing shit all day. And some of it's nonsense, so it's like, okay, whatever, but at least it's down and it's out of my head. And that's what it is. It's constantly emptying just whatever's in the forefront of my mind. Just boom, write it down, write it down, write it down. So that's helping me a ton. And honestly, for the next couple of weeks, I don't know what or why or how the fuck, for some reason, there's so much shit going on right now. Whether it's stuff with car events or things with friends, with family, my weekends for the next couple of weeks are stacked. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I also need to make the time for myself. And it's tough because, don't get me wrong, I have my time during the week. And I feel like during the week is, even though I work and I do have to do my stuff, whether it's like editing photos or video or doing design work, I will find moments and windows to do that. But it's like, man, I need to find a way to kind of like weasel in time for the weekends. And like I had a little bit of that this past Sunday. I was able to just kind of do nothing. And then I ended up getting pizza with one of my buddies, Zoe, which was dope. which was dope. We went out to LA, we got some pizza, just kind of kicked back, listened to music, shot the shit. We were able to catch up a bit. And I was like, this is something that I genuinely wanted to do. Like, I wanted to just go get pizza. And it was nice. It was so fucking nice because the day before was so hectic all day. I ended up having like a 14-hour day. And I was just like, fuck, this is too much. And that's the other hard part too, is like with where I'm at and what I'm doing, a lot of the jobs and stuff that I have occupy my weekends. So it kind of works in the opposite, right? Where it's like I do certain things during the week, I handle certain work during the week, but then it kind of flows into my weekends. And one of my friends recently was like, dude, don't you think it'd be easier to get a corporate job? And I said 110%. 110%. The last corporate job that I had, as stressful as it was, I feel like it was also very compartmentalized. Like it was my this time to this time, my this day to this day, and that's it. It didn't flow into my weekends. I knew exactly what my time was. And that's just how it stayed. And I feel like now as a business owner, it's very fucking different. I feel like you're on 24/7, whether it's answering DMs, whether it's doing something, your phone's always moving and you're always having to do some shit. And there really is no like you time unless you make that you time. So again, having a calendar and having lists and certain things and just kind of what I need to do, that's the shit that's keeping me sane. Because other than that, it's like, I don't know. And it was funny because I got invited to a friend of mine's daughter's birthday. And she was like, dude, I could have swore you said you had something on this date. But I just wanted to extend the invite to let you know again. I know I had already told you, but I'm just, again, letting you know. We would love it if you could come. And I was trying to think for the fucking life of me. And I was like, damn, why didn't I write this shit down? Because I know it. There's something about that date that I fucking got going on, but I didn't fucking put it down. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I bet you the night before I'm going to be like, shit, that's what it is. But it's all right. We're going to make it happen. But again, I'm just giving you guys slight insight on my life. What the fuck's been going down, what I've been doing to combat certain things. And it feels all right now. Having my calendar, having my time, having my space. And I just kind of shifting. I feel like after my birthday, which I know we talked about, there was certain changes, certain things. It's like, this is where I have to put my focus. And I feel like I'm really coming into myself, that I'm really starting to get a grasp on what it is that I need, like who that I'm becoming. Because I feel like I'm just going through a change right now. I'm going through a level. I'm going through certain things. And it might not be the most comfortable. And it does feel really uncomfortable, to be honest with you. But I have to push myself out of my comfort zone in multiple ways. But I also notice that when I get through those comfort zones, it's like, it's what's on the other side. And you hear that a ton, right? It's like, dude, where you need to go, like your level up is on the other side of your comfort zone. And it's super common. I get it. But when you live through it, it's very fucking different. When you understand shit, it's very fucking different, right? Versus when someone's telling you, hey, do this, and you go do it, and you're like, oh, all right. So that's what they're talking about. So this is the shit that's going on, right? So I'm just allowing myself time, allowing myself space to do that. And it feels good. It feels right. I finally feel like I'm coming into myself. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a grasp on who I am and where I need to be, what I need to do, what my purpose is right now. It doesn't have to be my purpose for the rest of my life, but at least right now, like I'm starting to get a grasp and understand what my purpose is. And, you know, it's like I was talking to Bams about it, like a buddy of mine from like Cars. We had dinner recently. And that was one of the things we were talking about is I'm just like, damn, dude, I'm just trying to get my fucking ducks in a row. And it's how I felt for a long time. And it's like, okay, cool. Now I'm really starting to get traction. Really starting to get traction. And it's like, this feels fucking good. This feels like it, right? And on Saturday, I was also talking to another friend of mine at this event that I attended, like after Moon Eyes. And he was like, dude, you can't stop. And I said, I can't stop. I can't. Like, I gotta keep it moving. got to keep it moving. And like, I'm excited because I have something that I'm trying to release for you guys this week on my personal page. So we'll see how that event coverage comes out and how things kind of flow together, but they're moving right now and it's working. So we'll see. Hopefully I can kind of like make everything work and meet my deadline. I also give myself ridiculous fucking deadlines. I don't know why. Maybe it's just like fucking school trauma and just being like, oh, you have a couple days to do this and that's fucking it. Or you have whatever the fuck, you have a week to make this shit happen. When in reality, if you were at a corporate job, you'd have a couple weeks or whatever. I love giving myself this kind of stress. I'm a fucking glutton for punishment. It is what it is. It's exciting. I feel like I do my best work at that time. And I also just get to push. And I feel like when I work this way, it allows me to kind of weed through the fluff. Not that I will give myself fluff, but sometimes I'll kind of like, I get rid of it all. Bare bones this shit. Make it happen. What do you need? Do this. Blah, 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 blah. You hit all these marks and that's it. And it ends up working out most of the time. So I don't like giving myself too much time to do things. Because if I think or I sit in my head, I'll touch things in unnecessary amount. And it's like, this is it. Right. And I do the same thing like with my photography. When I need to do my editing and I do my certain things, editing takes forever. Because I love my images to look a certain way and I want things to kind of just be, I want them to be, again, a certain way. I don't know how else to explain it. But I have to do it this way. I have to give myself a certain amount of time because if not, I will sit there for 1.5 million hours. So if something, let's say like a 10 photo process will take me like 3.5 hours, right? If I gave myself more time, depending on the days that I was editing, dude, that 3 hours would be 6 hours. Because I'd be going nuts. And I'm like, I can't do this. This isn't feasible. Like, this is bad. I'm fucking up. I'm wasting time. Make shit happen. Do what you have to do. Do it a certain way and just get it the fuck out. Just get it out. It's fine. It's fine. And I feel like that's a lot of what I've been saying recently. It's just kind of, it's fine. Look at something, shit might not be too good, but I'm like, it's fine. Keep it moving. What the fuck's going on over here? I don't know. It's fine. Just keep it pushing. And I know for this week, I'm trying to gear up for the weekend because I have a lot of shit going on, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Actually, even coming up on Thursday, just work-wise. Even today, today's fucking stacked. Like after we record this podcast, I edit, I do my thing, and then I have some photography to take care of. I have some video work to jump into, and it's just kind of like boom, 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 boom. But it's all right. It's all right. There's a part of me that's kind of not looking forward to this weekend. Not like in a really bad way, but my uncle's year anniversary is coming up of his passing. And like yesterday, my mom and I had gone out for a little bit, and I went to go get breakfast and took her to do some grocery shopping. And I'm driving and I was talking about it, and it fucking hit me like a ton of bricks. And here I am balling and like driving at the same time. I'm just like, fuck, man. It's crazy that it's been this amount of time. But at the same time, I'm constantly thinking about him be like, dude, you got to keep it pushing. Like, it's sad. I know it. I know you're sad. I know you feel this way, but like, slowly keep walking forward. And I also want to make him proud, So like all the stuff that I work on, all the stuff that I do, I'm not saying I do it in honor of him, but I push and I move a certain way in life. I feel like since his passing, because I want him to be proud. I want him, and like wherever he's at, I don't know. I don't want to get into, all this like crazy religion shit on here right now, but it's like wherever he's at, I just want to make him proud. I want to move a certain way. I want to be a certain way. Because it's in a sense, like what he would have wanted. Because he wanted the best. He wanted me to push. He was so happy for what I was doing. And he was so proud. So it's like, I can't drop the ball now. So as sad as I am coming up on Sunday, I'm also really excited to get to certain days. Because it's like, damn, dude, like I wish you could have seen this. But just know that I'm here holding it down. Like I'm here doing my shit. I'm doing what I have to do. I'm watching over, I'm watching over the family. I'm watching over grandma, all this type of shit. So again, even though my head is in this crazy place, and like we started with this episode, right? Like dealing with that being happy and sad at the same time, I'm just getting myself onto a level ground. And if I can keep myself level this weekend, it's like, all right, we're good. Even if I have my ups, my downs, whatever the fuck it may be, but it's just understanding and knowing where the ground is to step on, and that it's level and that it's okay and that I'm not going to fall down. And we all have to work on that. Is like, we have to create that ground for ourselves. We can't let that be somebody else that we rely on. It has to be something that you create for you. Because if for whatever reason that other person isn't there, or they're not giving you what you need, or whatever it may be, this is already fucked up. That whole concept is out the window, and your ground isn't fucking there. Next thing you know, you feel like the floor fell out from under you. Create that stability for yourself. Give yourself the opportunity to create the stable life that you need. Believe in yourself, love yourself, give yourself everything that you need. The things you give to other people, give it to yourself. That's what's going to help you feel this way. It's going to help you feel strong. It's going to help you feel stable. And it was funny because this morning I had a bit of advice that I was going to give, kind of like regarding to this. And then I saw the funniest shit. One of my buddies, Albert, that I was talking to this morning about it, I was like, yo, this is going to be the advice on the podcast. And I'm sure he thought I was fucking around. But, you know, he watches, says, Albert, I know you're fucking watching this right now. You're probably like, God damn it, dude, this is really going to be your fucking advice. And my bit of advice is this. And again, it's just funny shit. It's serious, but it's not serious, but whatever. You know, you take it however the fuck you take it. But the advice for this week is throw some ass for your mind. And you can take that however you want to take it. But for myself, I'm really trying to have a good time right now. I'm trying to have the best fucking time because I realize I'm never going to get these moments back. I'm never going to get to rewind the clock and get to spend time with certain fucking people. This weekend, I'm celebrating a close friend's birthday. I have to be there. Really fucking be there. And I'm trying to throw some ass. I'm trying to let my mind go. I'm trying to have a good time with the people that I love and care for. On Sunday, as rough as a day as it's going to be, at the same time, I'm also celebrating a wedding for a friend of mine, an engagement. And it's like, this is it. I'm trying to throw some ass. I'm trying to enjoy myself. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to just be in the best life that I can be right now. Trying to give myself that opportunity to do that. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what's coming. I'm excited for just the way kind of life is starting to shift and move and flow. But again, throw some ass, free your mind, let yourself go, let yourself be, smile, love, spread that type of energy, spread that type of vibe. Let that shit inside your life too, because we all need it. Every single one of us, we all need it. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in this week. I appreciate you guys for supporting this podcast. Thank you for the comments, for the shares, the stories, everything that you guys do, the way you guys interact with this podcast. Boy, I'm a fucking mess right now, but it's okay. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, and I will catch you guys on the next episode.